Okay, so let's look up here. We're going to review what we did yesterday. Today's actually a review page. And then, so we're actually seeing it two different ways today. So let's review what we learned yesterday, and then I'm going to teach you the other way today. Okay, so 0.53 is a decimal, and I want to write it as a fraction. So what would I do? I would take my 53, put it as my numerator. What number would go as my denominator? 100. Why? First of all, 53, the 3 ends in the hundredths place. And how many numbers do I have here? 2. So how many zeros should I have? 2. Any questions with that? Page 235. Number 3. Okay, so 0.3. Aiden. So this would be 10. So it starts off low, and then it goes towards your right to get higher. Okay, for whole numbers, it goes to your left. Okay? So 0.3, how would I write that, Appendale? Okay, it's not a screen, it's my whiteboard. Can you not see the whiteboard at all? Okay, there we go. 0.3. How would I write that as a fraction? Good job. And both, how would I write 613 as a fraction? And 1,000 as a denominator. Any questions about how to do that? Aiden, you got that? Okay, so that is how we do number 3. Let's look back to number 2. Number 2 actually asks us to do the opposite. It asks us to write each fraction as a decimal. So if they give you the fraction, you need to write it as a decimal. So are we both at number 2? After we are number 2? Okay. So to write my fraction as a decimal, I take the number in my numerator and write it. You good, Aiden? Okay. So I take my number in my numerator and I write it here. How many zeros do I have? 1. So therefore I only have one number here, and I put the decimal point right before it. Okay, so let's look at this one. To write 1700 as a fraction, I'm going to write the number 17. How many zeros do I have? 2. So how many numbers do I have? 1, 2, and then I'm going to put my decimal point. Okay, so this one, how many? I'm going to write my 903. How many zeros do I have? Oh, I'm missing a 0. 3. So I have 1 number, 2 numbers, 3 numbers. I put my decimal point. So start at the far right and count the number of zeros. That's how many times I move over before putting my decimal point. Any questions with that? Okay, so Athendale, how would I write this as a decimal? Okay, so it's 8/10. Where? Here, behind it, or in front of it? Here, in in front of it. Good job. So, hey, Jonathan. So let's look at this one. Yep, that's okay. No, I want to hear you. I didn't unmute you. I unmuted you. I want to hear you. If I need not to hear you, I'll mute you on this end. Okay? So we are on page 235 and 236. So, Aiden, 375 thousandths. How would I write that as a decimal? Point 375. I would write my number 375. I have 3 zeros, so I would go 1, 2, 3 decimal point. Any questions, Aiden or Affendel? No. Okay, Jonathan, I'm going to go back after I'm done teaching them and kind of go over what we just taught with you. Okay. So just still pay attention to the new stuff. I'll come back to the old stuff in a minute. Okay. So let's move on to number 4. Everyone got Aiden and Affendel got this copy? Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'll give a minute to finish copying. Okay, so Aiden and Affendel start copying. I'll give you a minute to finish this. Jonathan, we're going to go up to down to number 3. This is what I taught yesterday, and this is what we're reviewing today. We remember before we left, we talked about decimals being the same as fractions, where a decimal is not a whole number; it's part of a number. Remember that, Jonathan? Okay. So because a decimal is a part of a number, I can also write a decimal as a fraction. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the number I see and put it as my numerator. Okay? And then I'm going to put a 1 underneath of it. And how many numbers do I have here? 1, 2. So I'm going to put 2 zeros. And that's my answer. Okay? So let's try this one. I'm going to put 3 as my numerator. I'm going to put a 1. And how many numbers do I have? 1. So I'm going to put 1 0. Okay? Let's try this one. I'm going to put 613 as my numerator. For my denominator, I'm going to put 1. How many numbers do I have? 3. So how many zeros am I going to put? 3 zeros. You have a question on how to do that? Okay, so tell me, actually, this can be for Aiden and Affendel. Pay attention to this one, too. So, actually, pay attention, then I'll have you do one on your own, Jonathan. This one, I have the only number I need to put for my numerator is 4. I don't need to put the zeros before it, but when I write my denominator, I need to count these zeros as numbers. So I have 1, 2, 3 numbers. Therefore, I need to put 3 zeros. Okay, Aiden? No, I don't include them in my numerator because I don't need to. But I do need to count them for my denominator. Okay? So, Jonathan, let's see. Give me, how would I write this one as a fraction? Good job. So that is how you're going to do number 3. Okay, Jonathan? So, Aiden and Affendel, are you ready to move on to number 4? Okay, so write the metric prefixes that belong in the blank. So all 3 of us, let's do this together. When I say the answer, make sure we put them in there. 1 over 1,000 or 0.001 equals what metric prefix? Don't let the 0.001 confuse you. That's just writing this as a decimal. So 1 over 1,000 would equal milli, or like millimeter, milligram. But the prefix milli is 1/1000th of something. How about, what would the whole number 100 equal? What prefix? Nope, centi would be a fraction. Remember, if it ends in I, it's a fraction. It would be hecto. How about 0.01 or 1 over 100? Centi. How about 1,000? Kilo. How about 0.1 or 1/10? Deci. Remember, all my fractions end in I. Hecto, kilo, and all my whole numbers end with a long vowel at the end. And what does 10 equal? Deca. So there are the answers for number 4. Letter A is milli. Letter B is hecto. Letter C is centi. Letter D is kilo. Now letter E is deci. Letter F is deca. Okay, so let's look back. I'm going to tell us what we're going to do, and then Jonathan, I'll explain how to do number 2. As soon as I'm going to tell us what numbers we're doing for seat work today. So number 1, we're not doing. So cross out number 1 on page 235. Number 2, circle number 2. You were doing all of number 2. All of number 3, so circle number 3. Circle number 4. Cross out number 5. Cross out number 6. All of number 7, circle letter A. Circle letter C. So number 7, circle letter A. Circle letter C. Circle letter E. And circle letter G. Yep. Cross out number 8 and do number 9. Okay, so right now you still have about 15 minutes before your next class. So that would be a good time to finish up your math sheet work. Jonathan, just pay attention up here, and I'm going to show you how to do number 2. Okay? Yes. For 3rd grade, yes. So you actually have a little bit more time. Yeah, you have about 15 minutes. You get about 45 minutes to finish your work, or a break if you're finished your work. Remember, though, you don't. Yeah, that is for 4th grade language, yeah. Okay? Yep. Do remember, the seat work that you're doing, your parents need to upload it either to my email, to Class Dojo, or ThinkWave. This is how you get your grade. And Seat work now is 60% of your grade. So this work that we're doing right now is really, really important. Okay? It's actually going to carry more weight in your tests and quizzes right now. So this is really does need to get done and uploaded to me. Okay? So, bye. If Aiden and Abigail, you can stay on if you want in case you need help, or you can sign off. If my talking distracts you, you can also mute me probably from your end. Okay? Aiden. Bye. Silently to yourself if you want to. Yes, feel free to go ahead. Yep. Yep, if you want to, yep. And then when we do reading together, you'll still do it together, but you won't have to worry about writing it. Okay? So. You're actually probably only going to do Stage at Sea Chapter 8 today. No Trails to Explore, not right now. I think it's too much reading in one day to do all at the same time at this format. Yeah, so I'm not going to worry about that for right now. As we get used to it, I might be able to fit it in, but not right now. Okay? Not today, no. Just Chapter 8, Stage at Sea. Okay? So, Jonathan, let's look back to number 2. Number 2 says, write each fraction as a decimal. So, here goes my fraction, 6 over 10. Okay? So, if I'm going to write that as a decimal, I'm going to take my numerator 6 and write it. How many zeros do I have? 1. So, I'm going to start at my right, and I'm going to count over 1 and place my decimal point. Aiden. Yeah, that was from yesterday. So that was the work from yesterday needs to be handed in and uploaded to me. Okay? Yeah, it's seat work. So that's how I know that you did it. Okay? Yeah, homework, there's really no more homework anymore. So this is the work that gets graded. So your mom would just need to take a picture of the work when you're finished it and then upload it to one of those 3 places. Preferably like email or ThinkPad or ThinkRead. Yeah, at the end of the day, I'm going to try to have a list for parents at the end of the day to upload to me. No, that's for chapter 7. No homework, no, but just seat work. Seat work we did have. So the stuff that's on that page is the stuff that should have been done yesterday. Okay? So, Jonathan, let's look at this one. 17 over 100. So I'm going to change this fraction to a decimal. So I'm going to write the 17, and then how many zeros do I have? 2. So I'm going to start on my right side and go 1, 2, decimal point. Okay? So 375 over 1,000. I'm going to write the 375, my numerator. How many zeros do I have? So I'm going to start here. 1, 2, 3, decimal point. Okay? Get that? Okay, so you're going to do this one for me. How would I write that one? Good job. You understand how to do that one? You understand how to do number 2? Okay, so what we can do is I'm going to mute you. I'm probably going to be quiet for a while. If you have a question, just raise your hand and I'll be able to answer it for you within like the next like maybe 3 or 4 minutes, okay? Jonathan. You can, when you're finished, all your math, you can just leave. But I'm going to probably close it out in about 3 minutes anyway. Okay? Then I have to get ready for language for 3rd grade. So if you think you're going to struggle